Hey everybody, it's Dave and welcome back to what has become a little bit of an unintended series about the MYX bike and using cycling shoes. So the first video was why you should use cycling shoes when you're on an indoor spin bike, whether it's a MYX bike or Peloton or really any other bike. And you can take a look at that, but the number one reason is just efficiency, and you're just gonna get a better workout. You're gonna be able to use a lot more muscles that you just can't use when you've got a regular shoe kind of pointing down to keep in that cage. You want your shoe kind of flat like that. You can go watch that video. Then I got a lot of questions about what kind of shoe should I get. So I did another video where I broke down, these are the shoes that I use. I showed you some other types of shoes, and we talked a lot about the SPD cleat, this little 2-hole cleat down here. You can see I've got a 3-hole adapter on this shoe. That sparked some more questions because people have been buying these SPD cleats and shoes, and they're still not working with the pedals. And I think I know why. There are two different types of SPD cleats, but they are virtually the same. They should both work in this application. So my suspicion is that there's a tension spring on the pedal that I'm going to show you in just a second, and the spring is just way too tight. And so when you go to insert the shoe or the cleat into the pedal, it's not letting you in there unless you have quite a bit of force behind that. So I am going to show you how to adjust that tension spring. I suspect that is by way more often the case than it is that you bought the wrong type of SPD cleats, because these are the most common sort of universal types of cleats, and while there are two different ones, they're almost exactly the same. So you will need an Allen wrench in order to accomplish this. So if you don't have that, that's where you want to start. Just pick up a set like this. They'll come in handy for a wide variety of things, but you're going to need an Allen wrench. Let's go take a look at the pedal, and I'll show you what I'm talking about, and I'll show you how to adjust the tension on the pedal itself so that it will easily accept the cleat. However, we want to be careful not to loosen it up too much, because otherwise you'll be pedaling and your shoes will just fly out, and that's not going to do it either. So let's go take a look at the pedal, and I will show you how to adjust the tension spring. Okay, before we look at the tension spring and the whole structure of the pedal, let's just make sure you're clipping in right. I suspect what's happening with a lot of people is they're just stepping down on it and it's not engaging. So if you look at the SPD cleat itself, what you'll see is there's a little notch right here at the front of it. So that's what you want to engage first. You want to go toe in, get that thing to engage with the front of the actual pedal, then step down and it'll clip in, okay? To get out, you just go sideways. So again, that's front of the cleat in there. It's kind of hard to do from this angle. And then step down. Now you're in there, okay? Then we'll take that off. Let me zoom in. We'll look at the cleat now, or the actual pedal rather. So let's take a look at the pedal. So obviously this is the side with the cleat. This is the side with the cage. You want to be on this side. You want to make sure you're clipping in right. And what you'll see is here on the back, there's a little tension spring right in there, okay? Take your Allen key, and insert it here, and you'll hear it click. Listen for this. Hear that? Okay, those are the different tension levels. You want it to click because that's going to keep the screw from coming loose. Over time, these do loosen up on their own, but it takes a little while. It's probably just too tight. So if I tighten this up, I probably won't be able to get this. Yeah, so you got to really press down on that in order to get it in and out. That's probably the issue. It's probably too tight, or you're probably just not. I'm gonna loosen this up a little bit. You're probably just not engaging the cleat the right way. All right, so hopefully that fixes it for you, okay? So again, when you're engaging the cleat, make sure you clip that little part in first, then heel down, okay? And then sideways to disengage it. So that might be the problem. It could be just you're just kind of trying to step straight down on it, and it's not working. The tension screws are set really tight. I don't actually remember adjusting this one when I got it. I got my bike about 2 years ago when they first came out. I probably did, and I just don't remember it because every set of pedals I've ever owned, I've had to adjust. I have had several road bikes. I've got a mountain bike, which I don't really use clip-ins, but I have. I've had a track bike or a velodrome bike. It's kind of like NASCAR for bikes. It's kind of crazy. There's no brakes. It's insane. But every set of pedals I've ever had, I've had to adjust. So I probably just instinctively went to clip into these and was like, oh, the tension's too tight. And I probably adjusted them because they are set really, really tight. Play with that tension a little bit, okay? Even if you're like able to get in, if you're just struggling to get in, if it's just like, oh my gosh, I gotta really like stomp on these pedals to get in here, just adjust the tension a little bit. Do it one notch at a time. If you get it too loose, there's some potential that, you could be up out of the saddle doing like an interval or whatever, and your shoe could come flying out. And you do not want that. You'd rather have them a little tighter and a little harder to clip in than you would real loose where, they're kind of, this is called float when your shoe moves around a little bit. You don't want that. you want there to be significant tension on the pedal. I suspect part of the issue is just the way we're engaging with it, where you got to come in first and then heel down. I hope that helps. I want to thank you for all the questions that I get on this. This just started as this like, hey, here's why you should use cycling shoes. And enough people had questions that we started talking about types of shoes and the cleats to use. Now we have this question that comes up. I really do appreciate these questions. They help me put together ideas for content, and I create a lot of content. And so new ideas are always welcome. So please, in the comments, I want to know, first of all, did this work for you? And was it the way you were engaging with the pedal, or was it that the tension was too tight, or some combination of the two of those? And any other questions you have so that I can help people like you get more out of your MYX bike or your Peloton or whatever indoor spin bike you're using. And also, if you do have a MYX bike and you want some help with anything body related, I have been a partner with Body since 2007 when partners first became a thing. And I love my MYX bike. I love riding. I'm actually going through and doing bike one now, which I have just really, really enjoyed. I love these kind of shorter 20-minute workouts. I do like a 10-minute warm up doing a scenic ride, do the 20-minute bike one ride, give it everything I got, and then do a 10-minute cool down. It's been great, and I've been really, really enjoying it. So that's another recommendation for you. Check out Bike One, the Super Block, which is fantastic. And if you have any other questions, please ask me, and I will see you in the comments.